So, for those of you who've been following, regular viewers will know that I've been doing problem 8 for like this will be the third stream that I've been doing problem 8 for, but this will be the last stream because I've been thinking about it. And I think I know how to solve it now. I made a few notes. And I'm just going to try and work us somewhat of the way there. So, Project Hail Mary is that feel-good kind of movie, but the book is just a maze, a maze, a maze. Huh, good to know. Giffy Squad said, hello there. I stumbled on some of your videos and I'm excited to see you work through the art of computer programming. How far along are you, if you don't mind me asking? Well, thank you for asking. I am on page 19 of the first volume. So not very far. Will I accelerate? I think so. Though I can't be sure. Gosh, I'm moving everything around, aren't I? Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, I think that's all right. Yeah, you should get volume 1. Volume 1 is well, whether it's accessible or not, it's kind of to be determined by your prior knowledge. But it's fun to work through. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't view it as a page turner, but it's definitely a page. What's the opposite of a page turner? The page, it's a you stay on the same page for a long time book. You can skip through it, of course. My voice sounds more bass today. Interesting. I wonder why. I wonder if I was thinking that actually. I wonder if that's why basically I accidentally reset all my microphone settings. Not a thing you want to do. Wait, what's my audio on? This is a little loud. Need to get the compressor on this thing. Come on. There we go. Did I just wake up? Did I get a cold? No. No. No, are you watching me on 0.5x? Yeah, it gets a little... There we go. Now it's much quieter. Any tips for learning math? No. none that I would place any store in, other than maybe there's something in like the structure of the field is very like stacked. It's quite like, don't be surprised, and in fact expect, depending on how much math you already know, expect to not be able to do things and then have to like go back like 3 steps. And then study a bunch of stuff and then come back to the thing you were trying to solve. If you can kind of forgive yourself that, then it's quite, I mean, in a way it's like quite an easy topic to learn, especially right now with language models and everything. Easy in the sense that it's not like surgery in that you're going to not have access to the things you need to learn. It's not like, it's all learnable. It's just a lot of work. So it's that's the type of journey it is, which is kind of, yeah. There are worse topics to have to learn. I don't know if that's encouraging or not. All right. That makes a lot of sense. I'm glad. I'm very glad. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to brutalize Bach's work, and I'm going to put some compression on it. All right, be prepared. Maybe lower your headphones a little bit. It shouldn't get too loud though. I'm just going to play around with this a little bit. Where did it go? Okay, let's see how that does. Let me know if it's too loud. I can also probably just mute it if people hate it. I never wanted to look at the same thing twice. My downfall, I blame all the movies. Yeah. It would be nice to be like one of those people who just gets it, right? But you're probably not. I'm definitely not. But there is a recipe for not being the person who just gets it, and it's lots and lots of work, which is kind of nice. I mean, it's nice that it's not totally out of reach. So, problem 8. Now, to restate it, we've gone through it like a bunch of times now, but I'm going to go through it again. Prove the following theorem of Nicomachus by induction. 1 cubed equals 1, 2 cubed equals 3 plus 5, 3 cubed equals 7 plus 9 plus 11, 4 cubed equals 13 plus 15 plus 17 plus 19, etc. Now, one thing that I've been getting tripped up a lot on this problem, it's probably my currently most difficult for me problem. First thing, it is not, to me, I mean, maybe we will look at Knuth's like solution to this, and we will find that this is a fully specified problem. It is not well specified enough for me to solve it. So I was looking at like, well, I can sort of see they're like the odd numbers, but like you've kind of got to come up with something which specifies it a little tighter than that. Like you've got to put that in some sort of form. So here is what I came up with. I'm going to just write this down. So what we're supposed to prove, in my view, this is my specification of it, and that's what I'm going to go with. Okay. N cubed is the sum of n odd numbers starting from, excuse my handwriting, starting from, here's the little tip I've learned, write the one on the bottom first, the denominator. Okay, now let me just not confuse myself because I've scribbled out a bunch of stuff here. Starting from, wait, no, you want to write the longer one first. Okay. N minus 1 plus 1. Terrible one. Okay. So n cubed is the sum of n odd numbers starting from this formula. So, for example, with 3, let's say n equals 3, we've got 3 by 2 over 2 plus 1, which is 6 over 2, which is 3 plus 1, Sorry, not that. That doesn't make any, that's clearly not already that's not working. 3 plus 1. Nope, got that wrong. Maybe something here is wrong. Hello, Footlong Icicle. How you doing? So 3 should actually start from 7. So what have I got wrong here? Where are my notes wrong? What is this actually got to be? It's 3 cubed, so it's 7. So wait, no, I get it. What it is I've actually imagined that as the formula for getting the odd number. So what actually I'm thinking is 2 times 4, which is 8 plus minus 1, I guess. Minus 1, 7. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. Okay. You want to watch me stream and also hear the Life is the Reason music track from Project Hail Mary score. I'm meeting a lot of needs here. How can I help you, ABC? I can mute the music for an amount of time if you like. How long is the score? How long is that track? Then everyone can put it on, maybe. All right, so actually what I mean here is yeah, this is what I mean. Yeah, so again, if n is equal to 3, then (2.x minutes). Let me just finish this, and then I'll sort that out. I won't play it because I haven't got the stuff set up to then not destroy the VOD, but I will listen to it at the same time, and everyone else needs to listen to it too. I would say put a link in the channel, but we've got into trouble with that before. Okay, so 3 times 2, 6 plus 1, 7. Yeah. So that's the formula. That's the formula. All right, let me sort this out. Okay, I've got to use my keyboard properly. Life is the reason. I've got life is reason. Do you think that counts? It's 5 minutes 32. What I'm going to do, here's what I'm going to do. Whoa, okay, that was loud. That was loud. All right, all right. Now here's what's going to happen. I'm going to put this. Okay, I'm going to put this. Copy. Paste. Okay, I'm putting this in the chat. Now, what you got to do? That's okay, obviously, don't worry. What you got to do is when I say go, you got to start playing the track, and then we're going to listen to it together. So I'm putting the video. I've put the video in the chat, and when I say go, I'm going to hit play. And so you'll be synced up with me, but we won't have to infringe on any copyright issues. So load it up. Okay, I'm going to turn my audio down so I don't deafen myself. My stream will pause. I don't think so. My stream will pause for me. Oh, really? I think you can just play at the same time, right? Oh, maybe on that. Maybe you're on your phone. Oh, okay. Well, that's not going to work then. I can't help you with that. So, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to listen to it starting from. And I promise not to say anything too interesting if you navigate away. I'm going to listen to it starting from now. Ooh, it's very spacey. Okay. Oh, okay. It's getting a bit crazy now. It's not going to be that exciting if you're not listening to it, but oh my gosh. There's vocals. All right, now what was I doing? Yeah, so this is my formalization of this problem. So how do you do it then? Well, we need to prove it by induction. That's key. Maybe there are other proofs available, but we need to prove it by induction. So firstly, this is the easy part. We need to prove it for P1. Now for P1, this is not going to be that hard. We've got 1 cubed equals, and then we're going to work out 1 times 0 plus 1, which is just 1. And it's the one odd number starting from 1. So, fine. Then, okay, the track's getting kind of crazy now. Then it's quite hard to stay focused, actually. Then we've got to prove if P1 through Pn, so this is P, by the way, I guess. I should say that. This is Pn, I guess. Well, is true as implied. Then Pn plus 1. We've got to prove that. And I've got to underline it to show that I'm proving it. Hardest thing for me to do, draw a straight line. Okay, that was about right. So we're going to do that. Now, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to first... Wait, how am I going to do this? So S-Destroyer talked me through the summation big sigma summation thing last time. But we got to put it in summation form. We don't have to. It's just a lot easier to look at it if it is in summation form. Or do we? Okay, the track is... Oh no, the track's still going. You always have to go fast, yeah. Yeah, that would make a lot more sense. Okay, so let's start writing some stuff down. So first thing, assuming n is true, so we're assuming n, because we've got that here, so we can assume it. In which case, n cubed is equal to, come on. Oh yeah, and also another thing we're doing, in fact, do we need to do that? No, we probably don't. Yeah. So we are saying n cubed is equal to n minus 1. This is the starting point, plus 1, plus n minus 1. It's the same thing again. Plus 1. Sorry, that's not right. Plus 1 plus 2. And then we go on and we go on. Okay, track is good. That was fun. What a nice track. Thank you for recommending it, ABC. Okay, now where's my tunes back? Do I have the ebook, by the way, says Skiffy Squid, or do I use also use the physical book? I don't have the physical book. I've got the ebook, but it is bought officially. Highly recommend if you're following along to, and of course you can afford it, to get a legit copy. Where were we? Did I just pause it again? No, I did. Okay. Okay. Right, so we got this. Now, this means that we are also saying that n cubed is equal to, and then we got this sigma thing here. Is it sigma? No, it is. And the sigma is, yeah, so we go from I equals 0 to, oh yeah, and I've got to say where we end up. We end up at, yeah, I need to do that actually. Forget that. Actually, let's take this back. Let's move this down. And then let's say, okay, so we're ending, where are we ending? Sorry for this. We're ending at, I'm drifting downwards. We're ending at, of course, n minus 1 plus 1 plus, and then we end at 2n minus 1. No, it's good. Thank you, ABC. I enjoyed listening to that. 2n. Yeah, it's actually 2n. What is it? It's 2n minus 1. So let me just double check I've got this right. So let's say we had 3 cubed here. We would start off with, so this would be 3 times 2, 6 plus 1, that's 7. Then we add 2 to that to get 9. And then the final one should be 7. Yeah, no, it should be 6 plus 1. Sorry, it's a bit messy. Plus 2 times n minus 1, which is going to be 2 times 2, 4. So that's going to be 7 plus 4. 7 plus 4 is 11, which is indeed what we have. So that is right. Now we need to put this in summation terms. So to do this, we start off with I at 0, and then we go up to n minus 1. And what we can express this as is n minus 1. Sorry for the big 1, kind of crazy big 1. Oh, why can't I draw 1 today? There we go. N times n minus 1 plus 1 plus 2i. Because, of course, this is our index, this I, and then we're multiplying it by 2 each time because we're going from 0 to 4. So because we're following the odd numbers, essentially. So it's got to be 2 different each time. ABC said, has anyone tried following along a book with all the maths and science? I remember The Martian got me very interested in chemistry. Huh. I haven't, actually. Has anyone else? I guess for hard sci-fi, that would be kind of an interesting idea, right? So this is what we've got to, we can assume this because we've already assumed Pn. We're just rearranging things. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Another time, and this was 2 streams ago now, we worked out what do you need to add to n cubed to get n plus 1 cubed. And I won't go through all that again because we've already been through it twice at great length. But I will tell you what it is now. It is, we want to add to both sides. No, it's 3n cubed. No, it's not. It's 3n squared plus 3n plus 1. If you see, I'm using a Apple Pencil and an iPad. The iPad is running a custom web app, which is connected to my laptop. Unfortunately, it's connected via Ethernet because that's the least janky way of connecting iPad for touch input to a laptop. Don't ask me how I know, but I know through hard experience. And yeah, so it's WebSocketed through to some server. The server is then connected to a web browser, which takes the keyboard input. It's then a transparent browser source in OBS as well. So it's a bit messy, but it works for me. And one of my things has been trying to get better at handwriting, and I am, well, and also look at the screen anyway. So, but that's the janky part of it. I'm going to probably get a tablet soon, like a graphics tablet. But one of the things I don't want to do is be staring down at the tablet the whole time because it's not very engaging. So I'm going to get like a screenless graphics tablet at some point soon. That'll be my present for myself after I complete my next video. Is my background in maths? No, not at all. I don't have a numeric degree. I did maths at A-level if you're in the UK. That's, for those not in the UK, that's like 16 to 18 years old. So approximately 20 years ago. Is that true? Something like that. Little less. Little less than that. But not that much less. And yeah, I didn't do a numeric degree, but I've been programming since then. It doesn't mean you know maths. This is as you know. So I'm learning a lot of this for the first time. First-ish time. Had to learn a bunch of this algebra. Same, nice. Are you're studying as well? Like what's driving you through your studying? Or what's motivating you, I guess? All right, so to get to n cubed plus 1, sorry, n plus 1 cubed, you have to add this. Now, the reason why is if you have, and this comes courtesy of Max Sylvester of a couple streams ago, if you want to get to this, now you could expand this and work this out, but one cool way of thinking about it is you can use the Pascal's triangle, and you can say this has to be 1n cubed plus 3n squared plus 3n plus 1. And so the coefficients here are 1, 3, 3, 1, which as it happens, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1. Fourth row of Pascal's triangle. Third row, actually, because we count it. This is the 0th. There's a whole bunch of rules for that I forget. And of course you can multiply it out, but that's a nice way you can get to it. Max Sylvester, I think it was Max Sylvester, but like a bunch of people were telling me this, at least Max Sylvester, and possibly one other person was telling me, reminding me of this in the chat, but they said it in a reminding me way. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, Pascal's triangle. What are you talking about? Why is that relevant? But it is cool. You're a software engineer, cool. Yeah, I sort of, it's kind of fortunate that I'm into math as not exactly as a hobbyist. I mean, I have pretensions to this being part of my vocation, but if I was thinking like, oh wow, programming is really messed up because of AI, maybe I'll get into something like, maybe I'll get into maths and I'll be able to use that. And it's just, you can't outrun it. Although you can outrun it so far. Hello, Dreamarch. How you doing? So anyway, so if you want to get to n plus 1 cubed, you add this. So what we're going to end up with is, or not what we're going to end up with, what we're going to have after that process is n cubed plus 3n squared plus 3n plus 1. Glad to hear you're doing good, Dreamarch, and thank you. I am doing well. I'm going out tonight. I've been invited to an event, so I'm excited for that, and I think I'm going to crack this problem today before I have to do that. So we do this. Basically, what this means is we get n plus 1 cubed. That's what we get on the left after that process. So on the right, we got all this stuff. Now at this point, I haven't fully got my thinking straight on this, but what I will now do is try to write out what we're looking for as a target. So we have n cubed here. Now, if we can somehow get from this expression to something which has on the left, which is, it looks like, what if we put n plus 1 in here, then I think we would have proven what we're going for. So let's work out what we're looking for. So we need to have as our target n plus 1 cubed is equal to so we're starting from 0, but this time we're going up to n because we've got one more number. Because if we're going from 3 cubed to 4 cubed, we've got one more number in our list, right? Because it's the number of, it's the n number. So it'll be n plus 1, substitute for n here. N plus 1 minus 1 is n. So that's why it's n there. Then we've got, so this expression does something funny. If we substitute in, let's say we substitute n plus 1 for n, which is kind of what we're doing here, we end up with n plus 1 and then n plus 1 minus 1, which of course is the same as n plus 1, right? So we have this here. Looks kind of funny to just flip the sign there, but that's how that's happening. Then we have our plus 1 and we have our 2i here, I think. I don't think that gets changed. Let me just check my notes on that. Yeah, that's right. Because we are now starting from a different place. We're still adding 2 for every iteration here. We've just got one more iteration. And we've just changed this. So if we end up with something like this, we'll have proven that if Pn, then, so Pn being true implies that Pn plus 1 is true. I think. So that's what we're going for. And I've put this in entirely the wrong place, so I need to put this somewhere else. Let's put it here. And we'll put this, we'll give this a little green arrow. We want this. Okay. So, left-hand side is looking good. Right-hand side, not so much. Now, what we actually end up with is, let's say we've got this. And then we're going to add in this. So, you know, imagine a big bracket around this. Doesn't look much like what we've got here, but we can do something. So, one thing we can do is we can create a 2n out of this. We can extract a 2n out of this. All right, now how do we do this? I'm going to do a bit of mucking around here. We can construct, what we basically want to construct is or imagine this is a plus in it. So if we construct this, then we can add, because it's got the same interval here, the same range, the same thing we're summing through, we'll be able to add 2n into this expression, because if they're going over the same range, then we can add the expressions together. That's part of the rule of that syntax. Also, it kind of makes sense. Now, if we can do that, we end up with n. So this is part of the expression, obviously not the whole expression, but we end up with this. Then we end up with, if we expand this out, n squared minus n plus 2n, which gives us n squared plus n, which of course is going to be n plus 1, which is what we want here. So how can we do that? Well, it's not actually so hard because, all right, let me get this right. Now, if you think about what this expression is doing, it's summing, it's taking 2n and it's adding it together n times, because we've got 0, 1, 2, and we don't have 3 because it's n plus n minus 1. So we're going to go through I is 0, I is 1, I is 2. What that means is that there's 3 times here. So we've got 3 times, and let's say this is n, because really we're doing this n times. N times, we're adding together 2n plus 2n plus 2n. So let's say n is 3, for example, then we've got 3 2n's. So we're actually saying n times, because it's repeated addition, it's like multiplication. So we can say it's n to n, which is 2n squared, which we conveniently have here. So we can just rephrase this a little bit. Why do I know everything? I definitely don't. Well, in this case, I know everything about this problem because this is my 3rd stream working on this problem. I don't know everything about it, but I know more than I know about most problems because this is the 3rd stream I've tried to solve this. So we've got this. And let's imagine we've got these brackets here. Terrible brackets. And then what we have is, let's wrap this up. Come on. There we go. Hello, Nimir. How you doing? So we've got that. And, you know, a bracket there. Imagine that. Debugging. Oh, no. How's the debugging going? It's going good here. I think I have a bit of I think I'm going to be able to solve this problem today. So assuming these are equal, we then have to have the remainder of this expression. So we've got we've got n squared plus 3n plus 1. I'm sorry, Naomi. Not very fun debugging. How long have you been working on the debugging? So we've got that, which means, as previously stated, because of all that stuff we did earlier, we can say, actually we'll keep that there, this is actually n plus 1 now, because this folds into this, making this n plus 1, not n minus 1. Of course, I've shown my working, but I deleted it again. So the margin do not have space for the proof in this case. So we still got these bits. Now these bits, in theory, they have to, assuming the theorem is true, which it probably is, they have to equal, well, let's look back at this. So we've now got our expression here. We've got this part sorted. The only now difference between the expression we have got and haven't got is this says n minus 1 and this says n. So this has got to be the extra number on the end. And we just need to somehow find some way to fold it in. You have a whole team of people to play. Oh, that's good. That's a luxury. Amen. So in theory, this has to be the extra one, but how do we make it look like this? Because what we're going to have to do is make this look like so the only way we get to expand this thing here is if we can have I start off at n and also end at n. And then we've got an extra iteration and it has to look exactly like this. So we've got to somehow make this expression into something which looks like this, which is actually, this took me a little bit of doing, but it is possible. So first glance, if you look at this and you think, well, maybe I can factorize it, as indeed I did, what you end up with is n, so it's going to be n squared plus 3n is going to turn into this, which is not what we want. I was like, maybe there's something I can do with that. We've got the 1, that's okay. But this doesn't look right. So, and also we're missing the 2i, but that's fine because the way we can express this actually is, and let's put this down here just so I don't run out of space. N, so, well, let me actually not jump ahead. N squared plus n plus 2n plus 1, which means we'll then get to say n multiplied by n plus 1 plus 1 plus 2n. Now, this is not I, which is inconvenient, but it's okay because I is n in the context of this summation. So, actually, it's the same because n is I in the context of this. So we end up, let's put this somewhere convenient. And let's actually put this somewhere as well. Put that there. And let's move this whole thing along, I think. Okay, we might have to move something as well a little bit later. Okay, let's move that too. So we have that, which means we can now say that this, please don't not be able to do this, editor. Okay, great. That's working just about. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Be nice if real whiteboards did this, wouldn't it? We can say that these are then added, which means we've then got an extra term we can fold in because these are non-overlapping consecutive parts of the summation. So we can add them together and just change the intervals. So what we end up with, so glad this is actually working, is this, which is what we were looking for. So let's go all the way back and look at that. N plus 1 cubed, 1 through n, 0 through n, n plus 1, 1, 2i. That's exactly what we've got here. So, of course, you could write this up, but this is now essentially proved by induction. So I'm going to put a little tombstone there just as a reward for myself. We have shown that if P1 through n, and in particular Pn implies Pn minus 1, which is what this is. Sorry, n plus 1. So, what chapter am I on? I am on the chapter on mathematical induction, which is section 121, so quite early still. So that is the problem I have been puzzling over for the last 2 or possibly 3 weeks. Part A. Let's look at part B. Part B. Use this result to prove the remarkable formula 1 cubed plus 2 cubed plus something plus n cubed equals 1 plus 2, etc. through n squared. Now we get to find out if this proof by induction is actually useful for that process, which I don't know if it is. So let's look at that then. We're supposed to use this somehow to prove this. Now maybe this won't be so hard because we've proved, so let's say, oh, okay, let's change the color of my pen a little bit. So we've already proved that n cubed is equal to, you know, the odd numbers. You know, you get the idea. Anyway, so we proved that. I don't want to write it out again. We've proved that. So, in which case, 1 cubed is going to be 1. Ooh, 2 cubed is going to be 3 plus 5. 3 cubed all the way through n cubed. So it's going to be, I don't know, 7 plus 9 plus 11. So all of this through, I guess it's going to be this. No, what is it going to be? It's going to end up at some point. We work that out in a moment. I'm just going to puzzle this through. All the way through n cubed is going to be 1 plus 2 plus something plus n squared. So all of the numbers up to n squared. Which I guess also means, yeah, it means all of the odd numbers up to, now what is this again? It's like, let me actually do this with a small thing so I can get my, hello Astroself, hello Astroself. Nerds sound off in the chat. Unless there, I mean, there might not be any nerds here, so. So for n is, I don't know, 3. We've got 1 cubed plus 2 cubed plus 3 cubed, which means we're going to be going up to 11. So we've got 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9 plus 11. Should stop writing ones like that. And 11 is probably something like this. Now this is going to be 3 times 4, 12. So it'll be, yeah, -1. Or we could say it is, we could put this in a different form if we want to, but let's not get sidetracked. So we get up to that, and that's going to be the same as, well, this is going to be the same as 1 plus 2 plus 3. Move this out of the way. Squared So that's going to be 3, 6 squared, 36. We should assume this is true, of course. 1 plus, now where's my plus? Nope. Nope. 1 plus 3 plus 4 plus, nope, not 4. 4 is not an odd number. 5 plus 7 plus 9. Split keyboard, not very effective here. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 36. Well, as we expected, but still. So the left-hand side, of course, we've explored thoroughly. The right-hand side, not so much. What are the other numbers in this sequence? So if it's to be 1, we'd get 1. So for 1, we'd get 1 squared. For 2, we get 3 squared. 3, we get 6 squared. Yeah, 1 plus 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 6. For 4, we get 10 squared. Giffy Squid says, I'm starting to understand where you spent 3 streams on this problem so far. This difficult stuff. It's definitely difficult for me. Knuth has these funny little difficulty measures he puts in. So this one's like a 25. And they have their own special meaning, but it goes up to 50. But I think it's like a logarithmic scale. Anyway, so difficult for me. Yeah, so we get to, so with the actual numbers are 1, 9, 36, 100. These numbers are, well, they're the square of the triangle numbers. So there's that. Could we prove this? Are we supposed to prove this by induction? It doesn't say we have to, but we could, maybe. We could try it. It is the chapter on induction, so I don't know if it will yield to induction exactly, but we can find out. So let's just assume P1 because P1's not that hard. Induction is probably the most important technique, well, at least for CS major people. Definitely that's what Knuth is communicating to us in this. So let's say let's say we can assume, let's try out assuming Pn and try to get to Pn plus 1. Let's see. So we've got now to the left, we will, well, to both sides, we will want to add m plus 1 cubed. So maybe we can make use of the right-hand side. Given we know they're equivalent, what it's equivalent to, maybe we can do something with that. Well, this we can't just break into in the same way. But we'll need to add in n plus 1 cubed in some way. That seems like a lot of work, doesn't it? Can I get any hints on the correct direction from myself? Well, we know this is going to be equal to this, which we know is also equal to well, n times all of this. But it's going to be a sequence, so that's going to make it a little bit awkward to work with. But we may just have to go with it. Nemir, I'm on 8B. So and this would then be the sum of the odd numbers, but might not, probably don't want those. Well, let's try and do some stuff with it anyway. We can probably expand this a little. End up with a... Yeah, where are we trying to get to, actually, now I think of it? We're trying to get to a point, I think... So this is kind of okay, because this is what we're looking for on the left-hand side. For the right-hand side, we want this to look like 1 plus 2 plus etc., 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 plus n plus 1 squared. That's what we want to get to. Use the result, yeah, indeed. Yeah, so we'll want to replace this with something we can fold in, we would want to get to, well, we'd want to get to the difference between this and, well, now let me try and figure out what the difference is going to be. Okay. So let's call this A. And it's going to be plus m plus 1 squared. Let's say it's that. In which case we're going to end up with a squared, which we've already got, so that's good, plus 2 times, and this is going to be A plus 1, I think. No, wait. Times A times, yeah, wait, okay, let me get this sorted in my brain. I think this is what we're going to end up with. If we can get this out of this, I think we're in a good position. And it doesn't look a million miles away. And this is actually going to be, we can probably put this in another form. Ah, yes, we can. Because this is going to be a triangle number. Ah, perfect. So, yeah, so that's something like, okay, memory. I think it is plus 1 over 2. But of course, we've got this 2 here, so that's good for us, because then we get to cancel that out. So let me just double check that. So for 1, that's 1 times 2 over 2, so that's 1. For 2, that's 2 times 3, 6, that's 3. For 3, that's 3 times 4, that's 12, over 2 is 6. So perfect. Okay. Great. So that's what A is going to be. Hello, Zeta Shaw and Raiders. Hello. Z.A. Shaw. I'll give you an A, capital A. Hello, Raiders. How you doing? Z.A. Shaw, how you doing? These notes look extremely good. What are you using? I am using some homebrew software combined with Apple Pencil, iPad, server, web, basically three web pages, one of which is an OBS, one of which is on the iPad, one of which is on my laptop, and they all coordinate in order to produce something I can draw all over myself with. Have I already finished Book of Proof? No, definitely not. I finished enough to get into this, to get back into the main book, but I'm still kind of looking at it in the background. Z.A. Shaw, what were you streaming? What were you working on? People always ask, did you have a good stream? I was like, oh, who's going to say no? It was terrible. Chat was awful. glad to be shot of those guys. Yeah, it's taken a bit of work, but I'm getting used to it. It's nice to work with now. Yeah, and unlike a regular blackboard, of course, you can move things around, which is kind of nice. Getting back my web development sea legs by making a little site to our surveys. Oh, lovely. Let me, I know I get raided, so it's not, I'm not trying to do a whole sob story, but I get raided so rarely, I don't have all of the etiquette under my fingers, but okay, let's do this. I always want to do this. Okay, no, wait. Okay, I'm going to do it. I also have a new keyboard, so where's the tab? Okay, that's the tab key. Okay, I'm doing it. Yeah. Go give Zed a Shaw a follow if you like to see web development. Yeah, I managed it. I'm currently learning how to use this. I'm relearning to type using this. Okay, the keying is not great. This keyboard, it's a split keyboard. Don't get one unless you love punishing yourself. And even then, there are better ways. But that's only a half. It's a one-handed. It's a two-handed. There are two halves. So no, but it does have like, it's like custom. You can like program it. I say program it, like you can make all the keys do different stuff, and you can get it to do like chords and stuff. You can also get it to do, what's that thing they do in court where they type with multiple keys, chords, but like it's a whole system. That thing, they can get that. They can get it can do that. Stenography, that's right. Yeah. So it's a very cool piece of technology. I do love using it, but typing on it is like my least favorite thing to do with it. Macros, yeah, macros as well. Yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff with it. It's like crazy. It's the ZSA Moonlander. Got a nice website as well. Yeah, would recommend if you like that type of thing. It's a great piece of hardware. If you like typing fast and not having to relearn how to type, don't get it. Gibby Squid says, regarding your Apple Pencil, how is it that we can see the red dot move when you're not drawing? So, when I move my Apple Pencil around on the screen, it moves this red dot. I also have one for my regular mouse cursor, but it doesn't do anything apart from move around. But I removed it, and then people wanted it to come back, so I brought it back. And when I hit the Z key on my keyboard, it draws, and when I don't, it doesn't. So it's a little bit like, so basically my problem with just using the iPad like a normal person is I trigger it by accident and I get very annoyed at it. And this way I can't trigger it by accident. I'm just moving around. Plus, it means that I can use the same cursor to do multiple things. So I can erase, I can by hitting Z, I draw, by hitting E, I erase, by hitting W, I can wrap things, move things, pan the screen. And I don't have to like memorize 100,000 million gestures to do that. I've just got to use the right key. So how did I prove part A? I proved part A by, I won't go through it again, but by basically, again, induction, but translate it into summation form, and then used, I guess, Pascal's triangle to get this bit, which I then added on, and then I got it all into the summation by rearranging it and putting it in different little summations, and then ended up with it looking like essentially exactly what n+1 cubed would look like. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for the rate. Feel no pressure to stay around. I always feel pressure to stay around, but I'm like usually really hungry by the time I stop streaming. So yeah, thanks for the raid, and feel no pressure to hang around. But thanks if you do. If you do, that'd be nice. All right, so we got this. This will be A this, because it's 1 plus 2. So triangle number, formula for triangle number. Basically, we're saying A is this, which means we can do something with this and not do that, hopefully. Zadishos, same. I'm going to go eat, but I will tune in later. Always wanted to struggle through Knuth's books, but was never brave enough. I mean, couldn't find the time. Yeah. Yeah. Struggling takes time. So I do not blame you, but they're worth taking slow if you like that sort of stuff. Yeah, enjoy your food. Hope it goes well. So we got this. Now, if A is this, we can then say, let me actually go back here. We can then say it's equal to A squared plus, I'm missing a square. Where's the square missing? Oh, square here. True. Yeah, thanks. Good catch. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I would have missed that for ages. Yeah. Wow, good point. Oof. Yes, so then we have so we can get rid of this half. So we've got n plus 1 multiplied by n plus 1 plus n plus 1, 1 please, and squared, which means we actually have a squared plus n plus 1 squared for some reason plus n plus 1 squared. I don't know if simplifying this will turn out to be good, but we'll simplify it and find out what happens. So it's a squared plus, and then I guess we've got, like, technically we have this. Which is going to be... Wait, is this anything? I can't work out if I just got the same thing that I needed to get again. Yeah, I did. I just simplified back to what I started with. Okay, great. Okay, well, I mean, that's kind of reassuring anyway. So we got all these intermediate forms. Fine. So somewhere in the middle here, maybe there's something we can... No, wait. No, wait, this is something. Because... And I don't think this is how you're supposed to do it, actually. I think, because I don't think we've used the result at all. But what we were looking at was this. Yeah, I have proved it, I think, but I didn't use the result. So, yeah, so we were looking at this, and then we tried to look at, we said this was A. Yeah, we said this. No, we said this sequence was A. So we said this was A, And then we wanted to look at what it would look like if we added n plus 1 to a. And so we got this out of Pascal's triangle. And then we simplified it down to a squared plus n plus 1 cubed, which is indeed what we have here. So that proves that adding n plus 1 to this sequence adds n plus 1 cubed. But I don't think we've used the result from part 1 at all. I don't think I relied on that at all. So that is a proof, but it's not the one we're looking for. We did have a bunch of possible candidates. Now we can rearrange this a little bit. Where's it supposed to slot in? Clearly it's supposed to help us prove some part of this. Amos says, I think you should open the left-hand side with the formula from part A. In the induction step. This formula, you mean, Naimir? Like this one? So if we did that, well, let's try it. Not sure though. Let's find out. Let's find out what happens. You mean each part? Oh, okay. That wasn't what I wanted to do. Well, the left-hand side is, it looks like we don't want to do anything with the left-hand side because that ends up with what we want quite quickly. We could put it on the right-hand side, maybe. Or, no, wait. That's not really it's not really what we've proved exactly. We've kind of proved that if n Let's read on and see if we get anything interesting out of the note. Note, an attractive geometric interpretation of this formula suggested by Warren Lushbaugh is shown in Figure 5. See Math Gazette 49, 1965 to page 200. The idea is related to Nicomachus's theorem and in Figure 3 and Figure 3. Figure 3. Where is Figure 3? Hello, Yanshifem. It's going well, thank you. How are you doing? Figure 3, Figure 3, Figure 3. Figure 3's way back. Ah. Well, yes, of course. the sum of odd numbers is a square. Xhister says, hey, sorry to interrupt. Do you upload? No, don't never need to be sorry to interrupt. Do you upload or plan to upload all the code and VODs of your streams somewhere? So the VODs are uploaded in the YouTube channel linked below. If you can't find it, and I've forgotten to put it there, it's K4YL4CK. So KLAC, but with fours for A's, on YouTube. And the code, I haven't been uploading any code, and there's also no code, but I could upload the code as I develop code. I've considered uploading the board, but it will make no sense to be usable by anyone else, so I haven't. Does that help, Xhister? Jan, you've been very sleepy. We'll stick around. I'll put you to sleep. Have you not been? What time is it where you are? Is that because of the time of day, or are you just sleep? I've been sleeping pretty badly lately. I've been having to sleep in to catch up. So, sum of odd numbers is a square. Cool. All nice. And then figure 5. Figure 5 is this here. Okay. Other look-see proofs can be found in, etc. All right, side. One of the sides, I guess, is 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. That's 6 5s. Okay, 5 times 5 plus 1 makes sense. Then another side is 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2. So he's kind of, so first I should be illustrating this really. So this side here, he's talking about these cells, for example. And there's 6 of these. And they're 5 units long, let's say, if this is like 1 unit. So that's that one. Then this one is like going here, 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 here. So that's 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 times 1 through 5. Okay. That's interesting. And then the area, which is going to be 4 times 1 squared plus 4 times 2 squared plus 4 times 3 squared. Now what is going on here? Right, so the squareds are these actual areas. So we've got 4 of the 1s. Four times 2 squared equals, whoa, okay. That one's a little more complicated. So we have 4 times 2, which is 6 2 squareds. Now, I mean, apart from just having an L there, And then we've got 4 times 3. And then here we've got 4 times 4 times 4 squared. So that's 4, 4, 4, and 4. Okay, sure. Why not? Yanshram says, I'm in the UK too. I was in France last week and we had an even worse heat wave there than here. Oh no. Plus the wine. Okay, yeah, that'll add up. Yeah, YouTube link, you can scroll down. Otherwise, it's I can get the link. Let me find it. There you go. Yeah, it is pretty. So we must assume that this comes in useful somehow. Or, I mean, we don't have to assume that, but let's say maybe it does. So the 4s are fixed, the 2s and the 2 squareds. And that's going to be the same as 4 times, and then these. Okay. I will continue to contemplate that. It's kind of awkward because we do have a proof of this. But does it, can we get this involved somehow? Wait, these odd numbers are involved here, right? Actually, no. They're not. The way the author intended is really beautiful. Oh, good. Good. So don't move on. Okay. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a brain clearing break. I'm going to run some pre-roll clearing ads. Or will I? Yeah, I will. I'm in my villain era. And I'm going to refresh my drink, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to crack this one. Wondering, Shanghu, is this the Art of Computer Programming exercise or prerequisite? Very mathy. It is the Art of Computer Programming exercise. The books start off and may continue very mathy. So I think Knuth says that they start off very mathy. So I assume they get more programming as they go on. But I think since he is a mathematician, they will remain somewhat more mathy than most computer programming books of today. For example, he likes to prove the time complexity of things. So I think that will come up a lot. But yeah, this is this is the mathiest it gets. And if we get through this, in principle, we should be very healthily set up for the next, for the rest of the book. All right, short break, and then I will be back. Just finishing my child's food. Nobody clipped this. Fastest way to inhale 20 grams of protein in existence. Concrete Mathematics, yes. Although I haven't been working through that book, it comes well recommended, and it's Knuth's take on, I think, what the prerequisites are. But I actually was working through Book of Proof, which is more lensed in on proving things. It's also good, and is Creative Commons as well. They do taste good. Yeah, so this book comes from, I think the first edition was published in the 60s. So computer programming was a very different thing at that time. And yeah, so it's a lot mathier than we would imagine a computer programming tome would be now, as you can clearly see. All right, so as I was thinking, can you believe we've only dropped 502 frames in the course of this stream? That's 502 frames you've missed, but that's pretty good for me. Do I want to hint on some previous work you've already read? Sure. Yeah. No promises that I will understand your hint, though. They could have been the most important frames. That was the frame. Those were the frames in which I announced the meaning of life. And hello, Venold, by the way. So, right, in principle, it's a square, right? So we can think about it. We can think about it maybe geometrically. Well, geometrically with a very small g. So let's say we've got. You scrolled through Book of Proof and found something that may help with this proof. Uh-huh. Well, actually, let's make myself a little square. Let's try and make a square. Is that squarey enough? What did you find, Val? That's pretty good. Yeah, so we only have to prove this for the triangle numbers, right? So there's an exercise that requires you to prove a very good result that can be used for this proof. Uh-huh. Which chapter is it in, Venard? Okay, so if we've got this, now this is going to be 1 plus 2 squared, which in theory is going to be equal to, well, I say in theory, the theorem states that's going to be 1 cubed plus 2 cubed. Now, presumably we're not thinking about this in terms of actual three-dimensional cubes. That's probably not necessary. Exercise for chapter 10. So I did not get there. Far from there. That's the induction chapter, right? I might visit it. I could visit it if I don't crack this. I'll definitely visit that as some preparatory work. That's useful to know. Thank you. Okay, so this is the same thing as saying 1 times 1 squared plus 2 times 2 squared. That doesn't seem like it can be right. Well, these are units, right? So, okay. Oh, no, wait. I get it. So 2 squared is... this. And yeah, we do indeed have that in there. Yeah, now maybe there's a way we can break this down. Kind of along the lines of what's happening there. Right, and another way we've got to put this is 1 plus 3 plus 5. So we've got this 1 maybe. Oh no, wait. We had this before, right? We got this fancy square. So we got 1. I should have meant with some way I can color these better. But maybe I'll do it spatially. Okay. Okay, that hasn't really helped. Okay, let me do this. And then we've got, actually I probably want to move that there. Yeah, so a square can be made up of like odd numbers of, it can be broken down into these odd numbers. Which is how maybe a way we can connect this in, because we've proved something about this sequence of odd numbers, which is that any sequence of odd numbers is equal to like one cubed plus like the sequence of whatever, something like that. So there may be something in that. Yeah, we can definitely say then, given we have, so we're going to be looking at 1 squared, 3 squared, 6 squared, 10 squared. Now, if we want to break down, because these, like this sequence here, this sequence here is always going to be like a triangle number. And how many odds would each cube number split into? Good question. its own number, right? Its own number of terms. So this has 2 terms. This has 1 term. 3 cubed will have 3 terms. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay. I get that. Which means that like if we're thinking about for example, I'm not sure how much this helps, but let's say, for example, we've got 2 cubed here. This is going to end up being 3 and 5. Now, if we imagine it like this, we know it's going to have 2 rows of the square made up of this, and then the rest will have to be, well, let's start off with the small one. It'll have to go like this. And then we have this chunk of the square spoken for. And we've got this 1 left over here, which of course is going to be the 1 cubed. We get to fill that in. Let me draw this a bit differently. Okay, so there's clearly a correspondence here, right? So if we're looking at, for example, 6, let's change my color. No, 6 will be crazy. Let's look at, no, it'll have to be 6. 1 plus 2 plus 3 squared, which will be 6 squared. We're gonna end up with 1, 2, we're going to end up with this, right? And this here, this is going to be 1 cubed, which of course is 1. This here now this is 3. And this is 5. And this is going to be 2 cubed. This one that's 7. fact, let me put this here. And of course, this is going to be 9. Because we already know the odd numbers. We've met the odd numbers before, right? We know what they do. And then this one is going to be 11. Now, if we add those together, we know that we get 3 cubed. Hence, yada, yada, yada. In this case, 6 squared is equal to 1 cubed plus 2 cubed plus 3 cubed. And not that just having a picture is enough, but you can sort of see how in at least the triangle number n, let's just express this as a triangle number. In fact, let's call this A. Let's not make this look really awful. Is going to be, well, all the way to A, right? So actually it is n. You can sort of see how this will be true from the picture we've got. And this is how the theorem we proved earlier can be used in this. Now, can we, I've only got a little bit left of my time, but can we put this algebraically? This is going to be very loose, probably. What is our actual chain of logic here? Like, what are we actually working with? We're working with the idea that, and this is in very non-provy terms. And it says, so the way I did it, each cube, say I will split into I odd numbers. So one side of the scale will be 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus n. Yeah, so you split it into 1, 1 plus 2 plus 3, right? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Right, and then you're kind of projecting across. So you've got like, yeah, you've got your like sides of, come on. of like this, which is going to be 1, 2, 3 through n squared. And to square them, of course, we need to put them in a square. Each cube say I will split into I odd numbers. Right, okay. So you're saying you've got your let's say 1 through n cubed. You split it into these groups. Right, and then we know this one's going to be like, if since it's a square, we know this one's going to be 1, and then this one's going to be the next bit. I think I get the idea. Do you know what 1 plus 2 plus 3 through n is? It's a triangle number, yeah. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. So we've got this. Oh, and this is actually going to be squared. No way, it's not. No, it will. Oh my gosh, I'm getting mixed up with my ends. Yeah. Okay, so we got that, and then can we put this a bit more algebraically, I wonder? Maybe that's the wrong way to think about it even. I've not worked with the this type of structure so much. I've always put it down to the algebraic form anyway, but I'm not quite sure what's allowed. I guess anything's allowed if it's convincing. Okay, so yeah, so the chain of logic is actually, let's say n cubed is expressible as can be expressed as n odd numbers starting from, well, we know they start from here. They start from somewhere. They start from something like this. Something along those lines. That's our theorem from earlier. And we know we're starting from 1. which is kind of, this is where I sort of say, look at it. We know that we're starting from 1, so we know that given we're expressing it as a sequence of odd numbers starting from that, and we know they go up, we know we're going to end up with some kind of square because we've just got a set of odd numbers, and we know from earlier, because somebody showed us, Knuth showed us, that odd numbers form this shape. So we know that, like, really for any, well, I guess this is the whole thing we're moving, actually it's not. We know that any series of odd numbers starting from 1 produces this square. This is not very rigorous, obviously, but I'm just getting my thoughts straight. The other odd nums starting one form a square. So we know it's going to be some kind of square. And then we have to, I guess, since we know it's a square, we have to show it's that it's this square. And I guess that's where what Naomi was saying kind of makes sense, because we know one side of it is going to be made up of we don't know that yet. We don't know that yet. We know that we can group this into something like this. Yeah, and I guess we know from this that the square is like one of these per odd number, right? So we kind of know, well, we know that if we have that sequence of odd numbers, we know that for every odd number there's going to be a row. And we know we can group those rows my brain is getting tired. What am I trying to get to? Yeah, what do we know? We know n cubed can be expressed as n odd numbers. Great. We know that, in this case, they're going to be starting from 1. Great. So we know they're going to form a square. And we know that this square can be broken down into a set of this is what's getting to me. Yeah, we can say it's made up of 1, 2, sorry, 1, 3. No, wait, we can't. We can. Generally, sum of first n odd numbers is n squared. Yeah, do we get to assume that? I suppose we could probably assume that. Don't have to prove it. We're not in Book of Proof right now. We can probably use things like that. Book of Proof wouldn't let me get away with it, though. Yeah, okay. I think I would like to put this more algebraically, but I don't think I'm going to make much progress with it now. Yeah, I just want to put it down in the I want to put it down. Yeah, I want to put it down a different way, which I'm gonna learn how to do. I think we've gotten far enough with this that I feel reasonably confident that we have proved it. Which means I'm gonna look at what Knuth says at in the end. Let's see what he says. Let's read his version of it. 8. Okay, so he's got no diagrams here. All right, where were we? Okay, here we are. Great. So for 8a, we must show that n squared minus n plus 1 plus n squared minus n plus 3 plus something plus n squared minus n minus 1 equals n cubed. Okay, so he does formalize it in not in exactly the same way as... Actually, it is exactly the same way that I've done it, but with a slightly different notation. And indeed, the sum is n by n squared minus n plus plus 1 plus 3 all the way through to 2n minus 1 equals n cubed minus 2n plus 2n. Sorry, n cubed minus n squared plus n squared by equation 2. But an inductive proof was requested, so another approach should be taken. Good to know that I was right to be not satisfied by a non-inductive proof. For n equals 1, the result is obvious. Let n be greater than 1 or equal to 1, and we have n plus 1 squared minus n plus 1 equals n squared minus n, minus n plus 2n. Okay, this is going to take some going through. So the first terms for n plus 1 are 2n larger. Okay, that's kind of looking like roughly where I was at, but with, again, different notation. Thus, the sum for n plus 1 is the sum for n plus 2n n times, good, plus n plus 1 squared plus n plus 1 minus 1. This equals n cubed plus 2n squared plus n plus 3n plus 1 equals n plus 1 cubed. Good. So the pieces are all there. I'm going to need to puzzle this over to really get it digested. But I think my approach for that was the one Knuth was laying out, which is good. B. We have shown that the first term for n plus 1 cubed is 2 greater than the last term for n cubed. Therefore, by equation 2, 1 cubed plus 2 cubed plus all the way through n cubed is the sum of the consecutive odd numbers starting with unity. Unity? equals the number of terms squared equals 1 plus 2 all the way through n squared. All right, well, good news is I don't feel like that's spoiled. I don't feel like that's spoiled anything. I think I was still going to have to work that out, so I'm satisfied by it. Okay, cool. All right, interesting. We've shown that the first term for n plus 1 cubed is 2 greater than the last term for n cubed. That's correct. Yeah, we have shown that. Therefore, by equation 2, 1 cubed plus 2 cubed plus etc. through n cubed is the sum of odd numbers starting with unity, which Nima says is 1, which equals the number of terms squared, which equals 1 plus 2 all the way through n squared. Okay, all right, so I'm going to need to puzzle over that. Giffy Squid says, impressed with your diligence with this. Yeah, it's a strength and a weakness. It is a strength and a weakness. Still, I would like also to understand what on earth is going on here. In this funny diagram. I feel like, okay, cool, but I would like to know, I'd like to understand it better. I'd like to understand how this connects, I think. All right. Interesting. Okay. I'm going to spend a little more time with that, just mulling that over in my brain, probably over the next week. When will I stream next? I'm streaming next, I think probably, it will not, well, it won't be next Thursday because I'm away next Thursday, I'm afraid. So it'll be before then. Maybe Tuesday. Maybe Tuesday. So don't expect me next Thursday if you tune in every week. Yeah, I won't be here next Thursday, but I will be here probably before then. And I will go through this briefly again. I might not go through at the start, just so we can move on a little bit. Let's just look at the next problem so we can load that into my context. So difficulty 20, prove by induction that if a is between 0 and 1, not inclusive, then 1 minus a to the power n is greater than or equal to 1 minus na for all integers n. Well, it's a lower difficulty, so let's hope it's easier. So it doesn't take 3 streams to get through it. And then after that, we've got some m's. And the m's, so if you thought this was mathematical, if you thought this was math heavy, Knuth actually notates some of the problems as these are the so believe it or not, these are the non-math heavy problems from Knuth's perspective. The M ones are what he regards as for the mathematically inclined. And then the HM ones are like, okay, this is for the really mathematically inclined. So yeah, ain't seen nothing yet. And it's always fun to see the 50s in there. The 50s, by the way, in case you don't know, Knuth has said anything 45 and above is currently a research problem and is not known to be solved at time of publication. So he includes problems in here which are not solved unless a language model has solved them in the night, and I'm not aware yet. Yeah. So if you see, so one of the funny things about this book is that it includes basically problems that you're not expected to solve, unsolved problems, along with exercises, which is kind of fun. And I think speaks to some of the motivation behind these books, which is it's not, it's not for you to solve all the problems. The problems are a way of understanding the field better, just like the text is. Yeah, so that should be fun. This is an M30 and it looks so simple. I'll have a crack at some of these, but I don't expect I will solve them. I hope later in my journey I will. Yeah, so I generally work through the ones I think I can do, and then I write down the ones I haven't, and maybe I will come back to them at some point in future. And then after that, we get to learn about numbers. Yeah. Finally, get to hear. Yeah. Let us now begin our study of numerical mathematics by taking a good look at the numbers we are dealing with. I love the fact he feels the need to define the integers at this point, even though like comes after all of this stuff. Fair enough, bro. You put it how you do. It's your book. It's your masterwork. You can put it how you like. All right, that was fun. Okay, happy with today's stream. Thanks everyone for hanging out, and for those of you who pointed the way, I appreciate your consultative input on the project. I appreciate it. Now we need to work out who we're raiding. Giffy Squid, you're very, very welcome. Thanks for hanging out. Okay. I think same category. Is anyone doing anything remotely like me? It's kind of funny, like titles like no shade. I'm not trying to shade, but vibe coding an app until I make $1 million. You're like, and then he's got a decent amount of money already. But very different stream. I won't raid them. I don't. I feel like people don't come here for that reason. But if you do like that stream, then there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually there's another one. There's another one. Lots of people trying to make money. Okay, just refreshed itself. Brilliant. Let me see if there's any math going on. No, somebody appears to be attempting to stream math, but it seems to be gaming instead. It sounds like me on my other days. All right, okay. We'll get this done. We're gonna find a great stream. We're gonna find a fantastic stream to raid. You know, I always enjoy the vibe of this particular streamer, but I have no idea what's going on in it. So we're gonna find out. Oh, happy Nora. You missed the entire stream, sorry. Yeah. But at least you didn't lose your streak. Yeah. Yeah, just finished. How are you doing, Happy Nora, before we raid out? Give me a speed run of how you're doing. and I'll see if I'll give my raid scroll a little more scroll. You're doing well. Oh, that's good. Oh my gosh, I need to not take this long while I'm trying to decide. The outside temperature has dropped significantly in the past 24 hours. Yeah, same here. Same here, and I'm definitely enjoying it. I don't do super well in the heat. I'm actually really impressed that I've managed to actually keep streaming through the heat some of these days, because it's not my favorite thing to do. Well, no wonder you're all in here. Slim pickings today. I really try not to shade the other streamers. I really don't intend to. Okay, let's do it. Let's go see what's going on. But I feel like I always enjoy the vibe in this stream. Do I have air conditioning? Absolutely not. No. It's illegal to have air conditioning in Europe. Even after Brexit. That's a joke. That's not true. That's not true. It's not true. I'm gonna accidentally become a grifter. Okay, we're raiding out. Sorry for the blue dot on my face. All right. Goodbye, everyone. I won't be streaming next Thursday, but I'll be streaming before then. So, yeah, it'll be a little break next week on Thursday, but I will see you before then. Am I gonna? Oh, let's not talk about the mouse anymore. We can't talk about that mouse every stream, have you know? that mouse haunts my draw. I can still see it when I shut my eyes. Anyway, okay. All right, we're heading over to Lana. Have fun, everyone. Thanks for hanging out.